Hello, today we're going to be taking a look at another Dreamweaver tutorial, this time focused on a couple of the elements you can use while styling. Well, following on from the last video with styling, I'm going to take a look at a specific couple of things you can style an element with, which is floating. And by doing this, we're going to begin actually constructing our template, which you can use for further future pages. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple divs to the header, the logo and navigation bar. And also just to note, in previous videos my toolbar has been along here, along the side panel. I subsequently bought a bigger monitor and so put the bar along the top, and so that as you can see, like the bars I had before, common layout forms, they're all along the top now. I'm sure I moved it myself, or it could have been I might have changed this. No, I must have changed it myself. But if you just go to classic, yeah, there we go. That shoots it back up there. So just change that to classic. Should be able to follow a lot easier. Anyway, we'll go into the header, and then we'll add a new div up here. Insert new div, and we'll call this logo. Okay, and underneath that, end of the closing div tag, enter new div nav bar. Okay, and then also we'll go down to the footer. In between there, we'll add a new div. Copy right and sitemap. Yeah, always use the underscores to separate spaces between words. It's good form when working with code. Okay, so now we're going to style these same we did before. So go click on the ID, new CSS rule, compounds, container headers, logo like we went over before. Width, I'll make this 150 by 100 because that's the height of the actual holding div that's holding the two header and logo, or navbar and logo. And we'll use the float to left, which means this should stick to the left of any div or whatever component's been held in. So there we go, into the navbar, new CSS rule, compound, container header navbar, to 450 by 100. Float right, apply, there we go. Same for down here, copyright, new CSS rule, compound, box, and we'll give that a width of 300. We won't worry about the height now, we'll edit that later, but we'll float this to the left. Sitemap, new CSS rule, sitemap, okay. Box width. Make this 450 as well. Float right, there we go. Cool, and now another thing actually, while we're in here moving the divs, we can also try this. So say you've got this in the top left, top right corner. You don't want them there, you want it, for example, the bottom corner, bottom left corner, bottom right corner, or somewhere in the middle. All we need to do is, like I mentioned before, when I was going through a few of the rules in the last video, I think it was, if we just go on copyright, double click there, and go to here. Yeah, like I said before, the padding is a spacing inside the box, margins a spacing outside. So, you can gather from that basically we're trying to move this, so what we need to do is adjust the spacing outside of the box. So to do this, take off the tick for same for all, and we want it's 200 wide, 200 big the box, so I know that I want it to be halfway, so we'll say 100 from the top. We're 100 down from the top, obviously that's, yeah, the top of the box is halfway. Okay, and we want it to go out a bit, so to the left side right here, we'll do, 35. Okay, and then say, probably don't want it in the middle, probably want it just out and a bit from the bottom. So for the sitemap one, we'll give that a try, see what it looks like. So take off same for all, box obviously top 180, bit too low. 150, a bit more, 170. Yeah, that should do. Just from 20 from the right side, so come along there. Yeah, I like that better. So we'll do that to the same here. 170 I think we had, 170 and 20 from the left. Okay, there we go. And now they're in place, so we can get rid of this text inside. And we can edit this navbar as well. So what we're going to do for this one is margin. We don't want a height of we want a height of say 50. Maybe smaller than that, make 35. This is how I normally work with them, by the way. I just try out loads of different measurement sizes in pixels until you get the one that you decide looks best. Yep, that should be fine. We'll go down 100. Oh, the box is 100. We'll go down 60, 70, and that goes out the box a wee bit. So, because obviously you have to take into account the 70 plus the 35. So what we have to do is take it down to 60. That should have 5 pixels leeway in the bottom. Yep. So if we do 65, that should even it out and put it on the bottom. Perfect. We'll leave it on the edge for now. Yeah, that should be fine. Yep, and that should do it for this one. Oh, and also one thing to note, we've left the content box empty. This is because we're creating a template just now. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the header and the footer and make them exactly what we want them to look like on every single page. Because obviously these are things that won't change. It'll just be the content that changes every page. So we'll create these. We'll save it as a template. Well, we've already saved it as a template, but we'll save it again. And this time when we save it, we'll create this content box. We'll turn this content box into a editable region, which means every time you go for a new page like this, you can go into page from template, and there's our last save. You see SoundSpark template main. And you can take that template, so each time you create a new page, these will look exactly the same top and bottom, but this content box will be completely empty, and it'll be the only part you can edit, which is really all you need to worry about. So yep, that should do it for this one, and thanks for watching. Cheers.